Welcome into the live desk. My name is Janae Hancock. This is actually going to be another segment of Kansas City development that we have here at KCTV5. And so with that being said, I do want to take a look at some video that we have here. City Market, as you all may know, they are looking for proposals for the space that is now being occupied by the Steamboat Arabia Museum and full artifacts that were salvaged from the 1856 steamboat wreck. And with all of that being said, I do want to turn things over to Kevin Collison with City Scene KC, if we can get that to load up here for us. Kevin, this is a topic that a lot of people are talking about, not just on social media, but around the community. But I do want to just ask you, how long does the owner have on the lease that is currently in place right now?
The lease expires in 3 years in November of 2026.
And it's been,
And he's been there since 1991.
And like I mentioned, this is a fact, or this is a place that is very popular. It's been popular for many years. Like you said, he's occupied it since 1991. Why would anything need to change at this moment? Because I know a lot of people are asking why.
Well, there's been some creative tension, let's put it that way, between the Steamboat Arabia and the rest of the folks at the city market for a long time. Because of the way the Steamboat Arabia is set up, they have not been able to have concerts down there. Some of the merchants think that other businesses might be better there, that might bring other people in, etc. And the owner, David Hawley, has been pretty open that he wants a larger space. He has a lot of stuff with the Steamboat Arabia. He also dug up he hasn't finished digging it up, but he's located another steamboat wreck called the Malta, and he'd like to excavate that and display those artifacts. And he even thinks that there's a chance that he could bring the whole boat up. But the problem is they just don't have enough space there. And he has flirted with several other communities. A year ago, he was in discussions with St. Charles, Missouri, to bring his collection there, and he wanted them to build him a building. But so far, nothing's really worked out. And so in the meantime, the City Market Oversight Committee wants to at least start getting the process moving about seeing if there might be some other ideas for that site. Hawley says he wants to apply as well to stay there, and he's got big plans to expand it. However, like has been the case all along, there's been no real firm financial plan for it. But the City Market Management Committee has been throwing out, they put out this request for ideas, and they are thinking maybe a hotel, offices, more retail. They're also talking about potentially expanding the site. The only caveat they have is they want to keep the original brick building that is the City Market. It was rebuilt back in the 1940s. They want to leave that intact, but anybody who would have a successful idea could knock down that big glass atrium that you guys just showed on the air, where the paddle wheel is. So it's been an ongoing issue. And what's really odd, and this is why a lot of people are vocal about this, is it is a very popular tourist attraction. It's listed by some like TripAdvisor as one of the top places people like to go when they come to Kansas City. And so a lot of folks are wondering, as you just pointed the question out, why should they be moving? And again, it's a bit complicated, and a big part of it is that Hawley just needs more space, but he hasn't figured out a way to pay for it.
And I do want to take another look at that video that you just referenced and that we showed a little bit earlier. Now, we know Hawley, he has his own plans if the lease is renewed by 2026. But what do you think a potential developer could do with this space, those that will be submitting their plans by mid-January?
Well, the River Market has been one of the most popular places for new residential development in the downtown area. A lot of people enjoy the ambiance of the City Market. So I definitely think an apartment project would probably do well there with retail on the lower floor. As far as office, I'm not so sure. The office market's pretty soft, and there's no real reason to think it's going to get much better. But I do think there is a potential that somebody could incorporate, again, the old brick facade, build an apartment above it. The folks at the City Market Oversight Committee think you could go up to 6 stories which could, bring in 200 plus apartments. So I think if there was a real strong case for somebody to develop on that site, it would be residential and maybe retail on the first level.
And like you said, this is a hot topic, but I also want to ask you if you can just touch on again, when are those proposals supposed to be submitted?
Mid-January is what I've been told as the deadline. And again, it would be something that this city market oversight committee would look through and make a recommendation, but the final decision would come by the city council and city hall, because the city market is actually a city-owned property.
I think you touched on just a great point there, the fact that this is a tourist attraction. I know when I first moved here, that was one of the first places I went to, and it's just amazing to be there. So it'll be very interesting to see exactly what happens with that space. I do want to move on to the next topic that we are going to discuss during this KC development segment. We are nearing the end of 2023, as we know, and a deal is expected to be reached for a Dallas-based retail company to purchase the Country Club Plaza. Kevin, do you have an update? I know you broke this story earlier last month, actually.
Yeah, it's been a bit. I just tried to reach out to the folks. It's called HP Village Partners down in Dallas. They run the Highland Park Shopping Center, and they are the ones that everybody says are in negotiations or in the due diligence stage to buy the plaza. They did not return I got a message from their marketing person saying we're not talking any about the plaza at this point. So we really don't have much new to talk about, except for the fact that the plaza continues to be such a hot topic. In fact, tomorrow at 5:30 at the Unity Temple, the Plaza District Council, which is a group of folks who are trying to come up with ways to not only help the plaza, but the surrounding area, are going to have a big public meeting. And so your listeners may want to check that out. But there's been a lot of ideas. I know, there's a lot of hope that the streetcar, which is scheduled to start opening in 2025, is going to bring a lot of customers there. There are some major apartment projects around the plaza that have been proposed that are expected to bring a lot more bodies there. So even while we don't quite know yet what Highland Park, the HP Village Partners would like to do with it, there is certainly a lot of activity going around, both with the streetcar and with residential development and with the plaza development or district council. But we do know, again, and we've talked about this before, HP Village owns this Highland Park shopping center down in Dallas, which is about the same age as our plaza. It was built in 1931. It's not nearly as large, but HP Village has had a really good track record from everything we've been told about bringing in top-notch retailers there. And they've also got deep pockets, and it's also believed they're going to be able to buy the plaza for a much lower price than the current owners did. And the hope is that they'll have the money to not only do potentially lower rents to make it more appealing to some of the more local retailers that people would like to see there, but also start getting a start on some of the back deferred maintenance. The plaza, again, celebrating its 100th anniversary. The buildings, some of them are 100 years old. There's a lot of deferred maintenance. And the other thing is that now that we may have more certainty about the ownership of the plaza, something may finally get done with that big chunk of real estate that was leveled to make way for what had been hopefully a Nordstrom's, and then that deal fell apart. So now, with an owner with a real track record and deep pockets, they may be able to come up with a development plan for that property. And so, we got a lot of reasons to be optimistic as we come up on the big lighting festival, which I hear the long range weather forecast is it's going to be a pretty nice evening. So there are reasons to be optimistic as we have our annual civic event of lighting the plaza.
Yeah, and we are just days away from that. Actually, tomorrow it'll be a week out. So again, all eyes will be on the Country Club Plaza for that event when the holiday lights come on. Do you think that that will encourage the deal to move a little bit faster? Because a lot of people, as they're standing there waiting for the lights, they may be thinking, what is happening next for the Country Club Plaza?
Maybe HP Village might have a couple of folks there to kind of gauge the civic response. I don't know whether, that's going to make a difference on how quickly the deal gets completed. If it gets completed, we have to recognize there's a possibility, like anybody who's bought a house recognizes something might come up. But I do think it's going to give them a real strong indication of how deeply the plaza is part of the civic fabric of Kansas City, and how much people really care about it, and how many potential customers there might be if they put some retailers in there that'll make it attractive to people.
And I was also going to touch on really fast, Kevin, before I let you go. We don't know of any other operators or companies that are interested in purchasing the Country Club Plaza. Is that correct? Just this Dallas-based one?
Yeah. No, we haven't heard of anybody else. They seem to have the inside track and they've got an agreement. It's just, again, they're making sure that there's no hidden problems, and perhaps they're trying to see how much City Hall might be willing to help of improvements they need to make. There's a lot of people that would love to see some of the city-owned aspects of the plaza, including its streets, improved, and potentially even introducing more pedestrian corridors there. So, there's a lot of cooperation that will go into helping move the plaza forward. And, but right now, the folks that are believed to be in the driver's seat for this deal are the people down in Dallas.
Hopefully, fingers crossed that we will have an answer as far as a deal reached by 2024. Hopefully January, February, somewhere in there. Am I right?
They say they'd like to, yeah, they say by the end of the year, so we'll see.
Awesome. Okay, Kevin. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me as always. Kevin, he is over City Scene KC, so definitely head over to his website to check out more stories like these two. Kevin, thank you so much, and we will talk again next week. Speaking of the Country Club Plaza, we are going to end this live stream overlooking a live shot. A lot of people are out and about. Looks like they're getting their holiday shopping done, or maybe just passing through for lunch. But either way, we are looking ahead to our 3:30 newscast. Be sure to tune in for that.